Hello and welcome to the Squared Circle Psychobabble. My name is Michael Valenti, doing a quick little video on 5 matches that I want to see for All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing. It's happening May 25th at Las Vegas, and based on the rally, it seems like we're going to get 2 matches so far on this card. One being Pac or Neville, if you're a WWE fan, versus Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. And the other one that was kind of teased was MJF versus Joey Janela. Now, Joey Janela is still recovering from a leg injury that he sustained in late 2018. So it depends on whether or not he'll be recovered 100% in time for the show. I think he will, but you never know. These are 5 matches. None of them are rumor. None of them are speculated. These are just 5 matches that I would like to see depending on what talent gets shared from other promotions, whether they're Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and any other promotions that may come into play from All Elite Wrestling. Now, the first one is a power couple match, a mixed tag team match, and it features Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes versus Johnny Impact or John Morrison and Taya Valkyrie. Now, these are 2 of probably the biggest married couples in professional wrestling that are not wrestling in WWE. Yes, we know of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, Rusev and Lana, Jimmy Uso and Naomi, but there's not a lot of known married couples outside of WWE, except for these 2 couples right here. And this would be a fun little mixed tag team match somewhere in the middle of the card to say which couple is the best couple in professional wrestling. And it would still be a fun, entertaining match, as we know that Cody can have a good match, Johnny Impact can have a good match, Taya Valkyrie is one of the best female wrestlers that's not in WWE, and Brandy Rhodes, well, she can hold her own and doesn't necessarily have to have a long time in the ring either. So this would just be a fun little match to have, midway through the Double or Nothing card. And obviously, we would probably see Cody and Brandy get the win there in the first match at Double or Nothing. A second match that I would love to see would be solely dependent on what companies we will see share talent in All Elite Wrestling, and that is a Las Vegas street fight between Impact Wrestling's Sami Callihan and New Japan Pro Wrestling's Minoru Suzuki. Now, if you're just getting back into wrestling and aren't quite familiar with these 2 guys, you may know Sami Callihan if you follow NXT a couple of years ago. He was known as Solomon Crow back then. He was frustrated with how he was booked, so then he asked for his release. He got his release, and since he joined Impact Wrestling, he's been a big name in the independent scene for really bringing hardcore wrestling back to the mainstream. He was known early in 2018 for hitting Eddie Edwards with a baseball bat. Yes, a metal baseball bat. It was a botched stunt, actually hit him accidentally. But ever since then, he's really brought hardcore wrestling back to the mainstream with his, he had a match with Jimmy Havoc back in England where he stapled a magazine to his head and using weapons, and, matches with LAX and Impact Wrestling and the Lucha Brothers. Just a fun guy to watch for hardcore wrestling. And if you're not familiar with New Japan Pro Wrestling, one of the names that you may want to search for matches on Google is Minoru Suzuki, who in and of himself, his body, he doesn't need weapons. His body is a weapon. He's probably one of the stiffest wrestlers you'll ever see in the current product of professional wrestling. Just the punches that he makes and the elbows that he strikes. He's just a really tough son of a bitch. He's basically this generation's Haku or Meng. If you're familiar with wrestling back in the late 80s and early 90s, this would be a really fun and stiff wrestling match, and really would not expect anything less but blood and, concussions possibly, and, just brutality between these 2. And it'd be a really fun 15 to 20 hardcore match. The next match that I'd like to see in Double or Nothing would be for the AEW Women's Championship match, and it's a one-on-one match between Britt Baker and Tessa Blanchard. Now, we know that Britt Baker will be in All Elite Wrestling. She was the first person signed to the roster outside of the members of the Elite, and she's going to be really pushed in the women's division, I believe, for being the first one signed in All Elite Wrestling. Probably going to win whatever AEW Women's Championship match there will be, probably be the first one to do so. Tessa Blanchard, and I said this in our last video that we did, the All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing Draft Round 2, which is in the link is in the description and the eye above my head right now. Tessa Blanchard is probably the Charlotte Flair of wrestling outside of WWE, in that her father is the Tully Blanchard of the Four Horsemen, and really does not need the name Blanchard to get her noticed. She is great in the ring. She's a great character. She's, has great match after great match after great match, and one of the must-see wrestlers in Impact Wrestling, and this would be a great match. Now, they were both in the Fatal 4-Way at All In that Tessa Blanchard, Chelsea Green, Britt Baker, and Madison Rayne were in, and Tessa Blanchard actually won that match. So if you're not familiar with any of these two, go watch that show. Go watch All In, go watch that match. It's definitely a match you have to see. And these two would be a great way to start the AEW women's division. Now, this next one might irritate a couple fans because it's involving celebrities, but sometimes you need to bring in the celebrities to bring some mainstream eyeballs to the screen, to the product, especially when you're just getting started here. And these are two guys that have actual professional wrestling experience. Very limited, but still professional wrestling experience. On one hand, we have the former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, David Arquette, who has been going through the independent scene, trying to make a resurgence, a revival, a way to tell fans that he really loves this business and wants to make amends for what happened in WCW. David Arquette versus Stephen Amell. Now, Stephen Amell is someone that has wrestled at All In. He faced Christopher Daniels in the second match on the card, and he also wrestled at SummerSlam. He faced Neville and teamed with he teamed with Neville and faced Cody Rhodes when he was Stardust and the Ascension. So he has, WWE experience. He has All In experience. So there's a little experience there. This match would not be a great match, but heck, make it the first or second match on the card and people will get excited for maybe an 8-minute match. They don't need to do much, but just to get some people watching the product. Now, the last match that I'm going to put out there is for the AEW Tag Team Championship match. It's a ladder match between the Lucha Brothers, the Golden Lovers, and the Young Bucks. This would be an absolutely great match. Maybe you can even make this the main event, depending on what other matches are on the card. But, these guys have experience with each other in the ring. You got All In, where Kenny Omega faced Pentagon. You have Kota Ibushi and the Young Bucks facing Rey Fenix, Bandito, and Rey Mysterio in the main event of All In. So these guys have worked together in some capacity one way or the other, and the chemistry there would just make an incredible, action-packed, fast-paced ladder match full of spots, full of action, full of storytelling. It would just be an incredible match, and I know once I say this, I know a couple people will get excited and mark out for this. If you have any matches that I didn't say, feel free to comment below. Also, if you liked any of the matches that I mentioned, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications as we're trying to hit our new goal, 5,000 subscribers before All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. Thank you for watching the Squared Circle Psychobabble.